I know what will fix that.
What's that?
Fit CBD roll-on pain freeze.
Try that.
That's the effect. How's it feeling, son?
Much better.
There we go. Pain away. Thanks to Fit CBD for their 2-month sponsor of the show. Their stuff aids and helps with anxiety, muscle pain and sleep and loads of other health benefits. I think you should go on to them. Certainly help Dak and his pal. PG, my man.
Darling Dak.
Mate, I need a football fix.
I know, mate, what you want to do?
Now these restrictions have
Eased
eased a bit, we can maybe get round a few parts. Have you tripped in memory lane?
Sounds good to me.
Brilliant, mate. Let's get a taxi, man.
Taxi!
Alright, big man. Oh, shit! It's Davie Greig, man.
What are you doing, mate?
Davie, man. PG Dak, oh! Hey, fancy, have you tripped in memory lane?
Aye, where we go?
Blantyre,
Blantyre taxi.
Blantyre driver.
Let's go! Tommy Goalkeeping pavilion with it.
Stand the Blantyre. Davie, you're all club, mate. You're all club, welcome back, Davie boy.
What a memories.
Look, he's tearing up, he's wearing up.
What's the Davie Greig stand?
Davie Greig Stadium, we should be called.
No idea there. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to PG and Dak's Memories Tour. First stop is at Blantyre Vix. We're here with the main man, going to tell us a story or two. We've got Andy for the committee, we've got Blair, a social media man as well.
Yeah, this is live for Blantyre's new stand. 2 new stands in at the club. It's looking $1 million ready for the big boys next season.
Davie, tell us a wee memory about your time at Blantyre, or just even being here with anybody else.
Without Davie Greig's name getting mentioned here.
Davie who? You've heard him?
Do Goalkeeping getting mentioned?
Ah, where it is here.
Nah, don't go any. No, I'll tell you what, one of the best games down here was Roch.
Aye,
the Scottish.
The Scottish, yeah.
Roch and the Scottish, they just bought a few boys from Montrose and all that, didn't they? Come down all big time thing, like going to run errands. And it's the best, to be fair, fantastic game. And we're in the last minute, ball back door.
Davie, I'm going to stop you. What are you doing, man? Let's get on! Right, sorry Davie, the groundsman knew what he was doing now. He's coming up with his tractor and that.
Bobby Boucher, that tractor.
He's tying all the parts, never been flat in his life. Right, Davie, on you go. Broughty, Bob Montrose.
Back door.
Fuck Roch, he's never liked me. I tell you, if I was here in the end, I never liked me, no. So I brought him 2 each, get in the last minute, and you're like, journey up there, and close to the back door, Davie Greig walking on you, and you're like, that's a goal. Hit the volley, bottom corner, the goalie saved it, didn't he? Same from Montrose, goalie saved, unbelievable save. You never made anything like that, son, but it was an unbelievable save. You know what I mean? You'd have been like,
Ah, that wrapped it
you'd have been kicking the ball for centre. Anyway, great save, and you think that's it. Cross comes in for the corner, gets cleared, Stuart Mills, shaped to cross it, cut back his left, crossed it, and Craig Smith, Smiddy, right across the centre half. Penalty spot, won it, leader, top corner, ball on the net, final whistle. Just everybody that day, wasn't it? And we went into the dressing room, Craig was one of the last in, and you know we Smiddy dead quiet, we get walked in, like we just started shout singing, scores when he wants, scores when he wants, and it was just, and that was just part of that run, wasn't it?
Aye, the great run that year.
What was your cell, Andy? Any memories that particularly stick out for you being here?
Well, there's quite a few.
Don't say something Davie Greig, Andy.
Best thing I had, wasn't it?
One of the best thing that happened actually was getting Davie Greig.
You don't need to say that because he's
No,
there.
but when we
Let a man talk!
Sorry, on you go.
Carry on, Andy.
interviewed the people for the game, there were 10 people different. turned up, and Davie phoned me out Tuesday night, and the last interview was a Wednesday night. Davie came out after he'd trained. He was 18 at the time, and he came in, he was absolute fucking manky. He'd all shaved, you know, manky face. And he came in for an interview, and as he's walking in, this guy's walking out the door with their shoe bells and their big laptops and the top.
He walked in with a Benson Hedges pocket.
Absolutely
Davie walked in, they went,
bogging, man.
I went, what the fuck's this? So anyway, after the interview, Davie left it, and we had a wee discussion after it. And to be honest, after about 10 minutes, we all agreed he was a man of the job, because this is the guy that was keen on junior football. It was oozing out him sort of thing. Junior football, one way or the other sort of thing. So he says, right, I'll phone him. So I phoned him about 15 minutes later.
I was just turning off M74.
He stopped driving, and he went there crashing his motor.
Yeah, well, the best thing was Davie took about 10 players for the Roch, and I was the only one who never took with him. I was the only one who never took with you.
Actually, wasn't it? When I did everybody says that, but it was 5. And we didn't take him, we bought him. Different for taking somebody blind.
Brilliant. Well, we've got Blair. Blair's the kind of
Blake said
We've got Blake. Blake's a social media guy, right? Young man, changing the game. This is what actually I think we need a lot more at this level. And Andy was just saying before we came on camera about how good a job you're doing. And your time here, what has been a particular memory stuck out? Because you've only been here for how long?
Just when Davie Greig left, I think.
That's it, undergiving.
I think I got one or two of these matches. Actually, I'll say one of the best memories was the Vale Clyde game when he won the league here.
Is that right?
Won the league 2-0, and I remember being under the stand. I was just along with my cousins at the time, and I think I was 15 at the time, and pouring rain. It was just a miserable night. And Davie Greig didn't score that night actually. It was Tom. I think just Tom was there. Swinny got to him, so he did. That was certainly up there. But even in the last season that John Gibson was obviously in charge for, the amount of last minute winners we had with Nielsen, Cumbernauld United, Dalry. We had a last minute winner against Dalry, and I think I was so excited over the 87th minute. I jumped in one of the stanchion poles there, because some of the Dalry fans had given me stick the full day for going around with the camera and stuff, giving me stick the full game, Mr. Cameraman. And after finishing the pictures, albeit very bad pictures of Fraser scoring the last minute winner, I jumped on top of the stanchion and shouted that and get it right. Slipped off the stanchion and split my leg.
The boys.
Right. So that has to be up there. And all the folks from Dalry couldn't stop laughing. So although it's only been about 5-6 years I've been here, it's certainly
you've been quite successful. Dak, what be yourself, mate?
Hang guys, every time I came down here we used to get pumped, man, so
because you were in
my big one was this is how bad it was for me down at Blantyre for taking downs. Ashfield were playing here in a friendly 2 years ago. Gibby's team were flying. It was only a friendly enough. And we didn't have the goalie that night. It was a pre-season friendly. I played, we beat them 3-1 here. Big Callum Graham got 2. PG Dak scored. Brilliant performance because they were, as I said, flying at the time. And I played in goal that night, and I think I was an MOM, mate. I let in a goal there right in the last 5-10 minutes, man. 3-1, and I was spewing. But that's as good as it gets for me. The only best time was when Davie took me in there, gave me the spiel. I signed for Blantyre. And with that last about 10 minutes, my first game I get sent off down at Vale leaving, and that was me, man. Big Burnsy was back fit again, and the gaffer pied me, man. I was on.
Actually, so you did take that bring you down.
You probably do that.
That's all I mean. It's kind of you doing
exactly, no. So no, that was me, mate. Came down. Gaffer gave me the spiel in there. Cracking dressing room, cracking bunch of boys. And then lasted 15 minutes into my debut, sent off, and then that was me. Never put on a Blantyre jersey again. Cheers, Gaffer.
Best 15 minutes you've played. Can we talk about goal yet?
No. I tell you what, since nobody's asking, I'll finish on with stories myself.
Which you?
I've not got many, if you're having, I only played here 2 or 3 times. My first year at the juniors was at Rob Roy. We won the Central first. I was 18-year-old, played a wee bit but not very much, and we came down here, we'd already won the league, and John Richardson must have gave me the absolute pity vote and went, right, the league's done, you'll start up top tonight. And I had a fucking holocaust, man. Literally, you could have taken the goal away and I still couldn't have scored. So that's pretty much my only memory of here, because it just sticks of how shite I was. Me and Brian McCandy up front, the twos were rotten. But guys, we're going to have to move on to the next stop.
I tell you what, next stop, but brilliant work getting done at Blantyre the new. The boys are out in force, sorting out for next season, so for all the fans that are going to be travelling down to Blantyre next season, you'll see big changes here. And it's been a pleasure, thanks to the boys for having us and the club for having us.
Thanks, mate.
And we'll see where we end up next on in the taxi with Davie Greig.
Cheers. Which you two of us can't wait for, right? But now that we're here, tell us how you felt about having Dak as a goalkeeper.
What do you think of Dak as a goalkeeper?
Oh, wait, just having Dak in your team, mate.
Don't start hanging
Just
out,
having
mate.
Dak.
Just put him down now.
Don't hang out with us here, man.
I'm not going to hang out with you, Dak.
Aye, you will, mate.
I want you to be genuine here.
He's never said nothing nice about me all the time I've known him, man. I've been
Well,
10 years.
do you want me to say something nice? Right, aye, something nice about Dak, no problem. Listen, I've had lots of goalkeepers as you do when you get involved in football, and Dak's the only goalkeeper that done the running. The rest of them want
That's the nice thing.
the rest of them want to save shots and all that. Dak quite like to run, and you don't. You're right, by the way, no.
That's because I did.
Carry on. Listen, Dak's attitude.
That's because I just liked hanging about with the players in the banner. See when you get sent away with goalies, man, and you're just wanting them ones and twos, mate. That wasn't me, mate. I wanted to be about everybody and about all the boys and all that.
Well, Dak, if I'm going to say something else, I'll say your attitude outweighed your ability. So, and
You're still good in and follow the Roch and that, eh?
no, you're not allowed in. No, I mean, the boy's too high for me. But I know the Roch. I played with the Roch when I was a wee boy. I played for the Roch when I was old. I've been a coach there, assistant manager there, manager twice. It's just the Roch for everybody's got a club. Who's your club? You know what I mean?
Mine's the Port.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a club.
That's my club.
The Roch's mine, but I mean, you go and play elsewhere, you go and manage elsewhere, you do the best you can.
Aye.
But no, that's the Roch's my club. No.
Well, that's us at the candy gaffer, innit?
Back here.
Look,
just have good.
Just before we start, what a gift for the Roch, the candy, superb, really appreciate
Honestly,
it.
great guys, really appreciate
And
it.
look, this is Davie Greig's.
It's a bit big for Davie, but it'll go into it.
Well seen the Rockies that size, that's Davie Greig's new cap. No funny that he does.
I don't like it,
Amazing. Don't break it, man. Class gesture for St Roch Football Club, man. What a club.
Absolutely brilliant.
Love it.
Right, here we are, stop 2 in the PG and Dak Memories tour at the Candy.
Tell you what, I've not ever really seen the Candy for this view. I'm normally on the park playing, not me, PG.
Look mate, I honestly, I know you can see a lot of goals in that one and that one. But here we are, Davie, as a former manager here, it's another club. Here's a wee memory of a time that you enjoyed here.
A wee time. Every minute here, just this is it. This is for me. This is football here. It's just I love it. Absolutely,
I can see
love
your
it, man.
face.
Just
I can see
absolutely,
your
honestly, just absolutely love it. But we're here today, and you're looking about, and you're going, "This isn't the place I manage, man." It looks what they've done. Big Skid and Stevie Mullen, what they've done early years here, just.
Even the boys are hard at it. We've walked up here and there's a good few boys working, man. The transformation, unbelievable. The club, man. The club I love anyway. I don't make that hidden that I love the club. We've even pulled a stop suit. We've got a special guest appeared.
A special guest?
Who could it be?
I had to pull a few strokes, lads. And you get Mr. Candy. Here he goes.
Can he sit there?
The Jurgen
Can he sit there?
The Jurgen sit next to
Hey,
me.
man, how are you? Sorry, Andy. I should see Andy. That guy looks like a goalie. He used to play for me for about 4 games.
Yeah.
See before we start.
You
right,
didn't play
what I'm
him,
going to
did
say
you?
here, before we start, see if you've not been let go or sacked for the Roch, walk away now, right?
I'll go. I know.
Andy, see hang in the deep.
Andy let me go. I was the first one to let go.
No, he
games,
made
Andy.
a mistake, Davey. He jumped too quick.
The Jurgen Klopp.
And all his time at the Rock, it's the only fucking time he jumped too quick.
I'll tell you what, you get lucky when we played 4.
Yeah. I tell you what, Andy Cameron, the Jurgen Klopp, what a transformation.
See this, Jack? See this? See this? How'd you like this bag on you? I'm like a cross between fucking Wuzzle Gummies and Stephen Rankin.
Hello.
How you buffed the old you?
Yeah, listen, we've got Andy Cameron, an absolute legend at the club. A lot of this good work's down to him and a lot of others, obviously. I'm not wanting to name names, but he's put in a tremendous amount of work to the club, and he's still the manager of the under-20s as well. He was a manager here and I played for him. But what's your best memory, Andy? There'll be a few, won't there?
Loads, mate. Every time I was here. By the way, see the legend thing, that's nonsense. See people, I volunteer my time. This is my 7th year at Roch and I volunteer here, same as every volunteer. So everybody who comes up and does their part, they're all legends, so we're all equal up here. But say again.
Promotion
Man,
is
he's a story. Never mind trying to sell the club to potential sponsors. He's a hangman.
I was staying there. Well, I'm going to give you one because I was staying there. The night he's won promotion. Me Maguire get a goal.
Oh, right, go on, talk about promotion. Promotion?
Aye.
What one?
We get one.
I don't want to do it, imagine why do you clinch me right
Here, remember that Klinsman? This was Davie Greig when we get promotion with his pants on. It's me, Davie Greig's. He done that.
Just there,
That's a pair of Davie Greig's briefs, man.
I will show you exactly how it is if I never adjusted his knickers on. But
Where's Davie Greig's on? Right, he's a story
I'll
boy.
share you on the promotion night, the one Davey's speaking about was Wishaw. It was the 4th season that I was here. I suppose that night, for the first promotion in all juniors for me was better in the sense that it was all the boys that came along with us together, it was all the budget boys. It took us a long time to settle and we got it on the very last day, but on reflection of people that the club means a lot to, the Wishaw game's probably one of the best probably for the last 30 years or so.
But I mean that one game, they build up to it because you had to win your last 7 or 8 games.
For the first season? Aye, well that was great, but the Wishaw one, you're right with that, no? We only lost one in the last 16 or something.
You had to go around.
Well that season, how long have I got?
As long as you need, mate. As long as you need.
That season, to be honest, when you build it up to how that game was so important, the season before, with 3 games to go, we won the last 3 games, we got promoted. And we blew it, we just never had the experience to get it over the line at that time. But we finished 5th in the league that year, and it was the first time we'd actually competed. The last couple of games, we finished 3rd, sorry. But then we go, are we going to have the consistency? Maybe build on this, because a lot of people thought we'd go back the way again. But actually, all the things came together. The signings we brought in at the start of the season. So you look at the back 4, you've got Sam Hanlon, Berto, the Bull, and Paul Tierney. All captains and experienced guys, you know what I mean? And you're bringing them in, you're looking, me coming from amateur and then being at the lower end of juniors, we're starting to bring players like that. Actually, I don't know if you ever got that, David, because you played at a good level. It's sort of no intimidates you, but you start to question yourself a wee bit, you know what I mean? But they come in, settled in really, they were good, 4 good characters. We also signed a couple of boys to score goals, Ryan Craig, and we Dan Maguire, who you mentioned earlier, David. So that set us up well for the season. But then there was a couple of other things. See in that season, see the competition in that division. Benburb were excellent, Rossvale were excellent. So were Neilston, but so were Wishaw. So it was never going to be a gimme. So we had to, as Davey said earlier, we had to be on our front feet all the way through, and we lost, as we said, one game in the last 16. Another challenge going up to it was that you could get fixtures up to the 2nd week in June, as you know. But for whatever reason, I could call it, but I don't want to. Our fixtures were crammed 9 games into Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So we get 9 games in 18. Was it 18 days, wasn't it? It was Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It was necessary.
And that's boys out there working that all day and all that, and then having to play that. So it's, see the nowadays players, man, that moan about too much football. You know what I mean?
But see, the funny thing about it is, it actually worked in our favour, because we're going away to fourth and you're getting a wee victory and you're going to Les Mahego and you're getting out of the line, and the closer you're getting to it means your unit, they're not training. So it was good. So leading up to the game, everyone were favoured. It turns out that night, if we win, we went top of the league, we went a point ahead of Ashfield, and importantly, we were 1 goal difference ahead of them, which would meant they had to win the last game. So going into that game, we knew going top, but the league was that close that if we didn't win it, we might not even have finished third, because Blantyre could have caught us, Benburg could have caught us, so could, I think at that point, so could Neilston and so could Wishaw. The next party, you're talking about the opposition. Wishaw that season, I think they were the semi-final Scottish. They were a very good team, weren't they? So that night for me, my memories here, get to the point now in the question. I'll sum up all this stuff. There was one moment in particular for me that was the best moment I've ever had in football, and probably one of the best moments of my life, right? I leave the house and I always walk up to the games just to get your head clear and that, and people's heard this story before, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I always walk, people stopped to ask me if I wanted a lift, I always knocked it back, strictly lead. Motor pulls in. Where are you going? Look at him. Where are you going? Very old. Very old. He's drove by, he came at a lot of games, he came in, drove by the park, so he goes, lift up.
He said not him.
You don't fucking say no. This is very...
I don't give a fuck how many European Cups you've got. I walk up to the game.
Drive me wherever you want me. So we come in, you walk in, and I suppose it summed up for the moment we come in to that point, and all the visions that we had sort of are all coming together in the one night. So we come in, the crowd's 600, 700.
Yeah, mate, probably more. I've seen the pictures, I think, we did.
It was mobbed, and I think they'd more missiles than Ikeda.
Don't mention that when I'm here. You know what I mean?
Because I remember Stoning just up there, and they did, didn't they? I was like, do you think you've seen fireworks because of what happened this year? Honestly, that night, I remember because you won last goal, and I'm brilliant. Boys all celebrating. I'm alright, I'm off. And I drove up the Royce Road, turned on the Broomfield Road there, man, on the rock. I was all sharp myself, honestly. But it was some night.
So the setup, the fans are here, Bertie goes in and does his team talk. Entertain! So he's going to be here if you're looking for it. The man's, they talk about legend. There's a legend,
isn't it?
So you come out, and as I say, just encapsulate everything with Balti words. I'm not joking, there's, before the game starts, there's 40 Waynes on the pitch, kicking a ball about. Before, when we come up, Wayne's on allowed in the park and all that, and it's just old school, it's just the way it used to be, but they're all playing on the pitch. Come in, everybody's available, you're buzzing, but you're looking at the opposition, you're thinking it's a real good test here. And obviously what happened the year before, see with the 3 games to go, and blowing it, we knew that if we lost that night, we could have blew it again, and everybody's really buzzing. And
pressure on you, a bit tense.
Absolutely, but that's when your guys like Beto and Bull and Tam come into their own. You know, they step up to the plate. And another signing we made that season, at the start of the season, Stevie Rankin comes in as your number 2. You know what I mean? Where you go? That's just a gift, it's class. So he come in, again, there's that level of professional. He's been there before, so we're in the dressing room and we're ready. Come out, play really well. The first 25 minutes of the game, we're all heard him. We get a penalty early doors. Dodd does what he does, 1-0 up. You do need to get him on the show.
I know.
We're 1-0 up. Everything's going well, and then all of us, you know yourselves during games, the opposition always get their wee bit. Wishaw come into it, they get a penalty just 5 minutes before half time. The wee goalie comes up and scores it. So it's 1 each at half time, and you're in at half time, and there's no despondency with losing the goal. Everybody's just buzzing about the chances. They're ready to go.
Quickest half time they probably had.
They come out and I'm just seeing the things that evolved early 4 year. They've got the Candy man who's playing at half time, who's a DJ, resident DJ, come up here. He's class, right? And the music. So occasionally I would be, whenever I wanted to, I'd be saying to him what songs to play. You know, so.
He's about a wab.
A dreary Saturday afternoon. Any wolf tones, big man. So he's got the tunes blasting, the boys go back out again. 2 minutes in the second half, we're 2-1 up. We never really looked, they had a couple of wee half chances, we never really looked back. Final whistle goes, and Davey will tell you this, as a manager, when you get a situation like that, you don't celebrate, it's just relief. You just decide, everybody around about you, I've seen the videos and that since, everybody around about you celebrating. And it's really good for all the boys being involved that came through with us. They've done their bit, and to be fair, at that point they deserve to be promoted. We'll be promoted to the Super Leagues for the first time in the club's history. Best finish probably for about 40 years, but that's coming together out of all the people that came involved. Like, I just happened to be the guy who was fucking wearing the tracksuit that day. But we get the promotion, we look at everybody celebrating, and a couple of wee things happens after that, which makes it special to me. And so I'm going there and celebrating, and everybody I know's at the game, and I go there and my wee Moz there.
Brilliant, man.
She's never at football games. She came out, she gave me a cuddle, and she says, I'm proud of you, son. Honestly, God, your heart came out. Fucking, you're going. And at that point, you're looking about to see make sure people are behaving, and maybe put a flare on so you get a fine and all that. But that moment lived with me for a long time, because that's what you play for. You play for the people who you love. But then afterwards, which reinforced it to me, we've done a couple of wee a sort of reflection video on that season, and guys like Stevie Millen, who's come in and run since I've been here, brilliant. He runs the club now, come in and help me out, but I now help him out. He's done a video and he said it was his best game. We're playing their best moment at the Roch. Then Gordon Hammond, who's the honorary city president, he said the same thing, and other people since. And when you see how much it means, not just to the Wayne's playing, but see the old guys like old Peter Flynn and that, who are in their 80s, who have been coming along forever. Really good, really good. And then it got us into the Super League, and it meant that after 4 seasons we could take a step back and go, the project we're doing here is actually working, and the fans have enjoyed it.
That's down the divisions.
I mentioned you. I fucking mentioned you.
That's down the divisions. Right, get in it.
What is a battle? I know.
Well, you're not
I know he's on a 50. No, we don't want him for under 19s. Right, mate, you take care, alright? All the best.
Oh, what, man. No, listen, brilliant to be back down at the Roch, a club that I love. See, my memory, I'll go back, I'll just fire right in there, PG. My memory was when Davie signed me. My first game, I came into that dressing room, and as I said, it was a shadow of the club it is now. Honestly, wonders that's happening down here now. And Davie signed me, and my first game was against Lark Hall. We played here. I didn't know what to expect, you know that way you come in and you're not really get experience in junior football. And Celtic and Rangers were playing on the Sunday, and we came down here and it was the Saturday our game was, and I kid you not, man, what a crowd. My first game juniors, nerves were kicking out of me, full green brigade and everything, everybody was here, there was everything going off, and we played Lark Hall, we beat them 3-0.
2-0.
Was it no 3? Colvin got a penalty.
2-0.
I kept a clean sheet in my first game, mate, and what a way to start. Walked in there, you'd think I'd played 150 games for the Roch. See, after it, man, everybody's all celebrating, everybody's going off for that. Dressing rooms are bouncing, you're getting in there, and you're in there getting a wee beer after the game, and you're just going like that. Amazing. You walked in, people are cuddling you, know, you've just played 90 minutes, it's your first 90 minutes at the club, and everybody's treating you as if you've been here all your days. Unbelievable. And then that with the pants, man, I loved that, man. That was you, mate. That was a stunt double for you when Davie came out of there.
That was
Klingsman, we won promotion, Davie came out there and a Klingsman with the like whitest briefs ever on.
See when Andy was telling his memory, I had to look away because I nearly started laughing because I could see it was the whitest pants in the world.
Mate, they're so white, I had to go to Aston and buy them, mate, before I came out. I'm looking briefs, man, we don't wear briefs, you know what I mean?
Get a woman's part.
I know at that age. What about you, PG?
I've spoken about this when I think it was McStay and Baz were on. My best memory here, I've played here 4 or 5 times, I only think I've won twice. My best memory here is scoring my only junior hat-trick, and that must have been about 8 or 9 years ago. It was funnily enough, Dave, that was the year you won the 2nd division with Blantyre.
Right, that was so, like fucking sharp myself and you got
I
was one of my teams, it's not happening.
I think the week or two before we had played against yous, and I had scored 2 that day. He's beat us 4-3. He's had 9 men, your big goal, he sent after into port. And it was a masterclass. You saw the game out brilliantly. So I scored 2 that.
Well, you did take one.
No, I scored 1 into him. I scored an absolute world into the other one. We'll not talk about it. It's not about me, but it is.
At least it consoled you. It consoled you that night. No,
Davie, what about you, Davie? You never gave us an actual memory. You just
got too emotional.
You just got emotional. I thought he was going to start green.
Do you know what? Just there's that many here, but there's that. I think the first time we done in the 2nd division we done a giant killing here, sort of. It was a League Cup, and
but a few it
was but Bells Hall, because they were a right good side at the time. I think it was Cowboy was in charge, and we played them down here. Didn't fancy us, nobody fancied us that day, but we were absolutely superb, and Martin Callahan scored 2, and I think that gives you hunger. You know what I mean? When you go, hold on, we can do this. I'd always rang, but well, when you're in, it's like when you're in that second division and you've got the super Premier team. As a player, you're buzzing going to the game and everything. They all give it, it's a League Cup, it's just a friendly. You're bullshit, full of shite, just to get out for the ball. But we beat them with excellent that day. Beat them 2-0 and we end up, we won the section. And getting to the quarters was, it just felt great. You know what I mean? It was the first giant killing, and
I think it means more. Obviously these teams will say, it's just a League Cup. It's a lot of pish because you want to win every game, but I think see games like that, they stick with you more when you're at a smaller club and you know what your boys have had today to win that game.
It's funny because see that season I was talking about there, even competing against the big teams, I think we actually went to Wishaw earlier in that season and they beat us out there, right? And the following week we had to go to Auchinleck in the West and we went down there and we had a couple of players out. They beat us 2-1, right? But you know yourself, you know yourself, you can lose 2-1 and you can talk a lot of shit, you say how we competed. But everybody there knew that we gave them a right good game. And see even just that, the boys knowing they can compete against the higher level.
That defeat still keeps you
just keeps you going.
That day we went down, that was a big day for the club when we went down the Scottish. I don't know why I brought that up.
I tell you what, we'll end it on that, right?
I want to just say, when I was at the club as well with Davie and that, I'm looking there and I'm sitting at the candy and I'm looking at the Ted Crawley stand, right, and I was here with Ted and he was an absolute gentleman and what a guy he was for the club. And these are the people we mentioned, Peter and that as well when I was at the club. We were
Peter
Flynn and Ted and stuff, and they were great characters. So to come down here and see that stand and that there and a wee bit of recognition for the work that you done at the club, it's different class.
But I'll tell you what, see, no joke, because like you were here, Dak, and I think as we were here, we were just laughing about coming. I mean, it was, the players said nothing, which is just, that was our training ground, just up the side of the park, weren't allowed on the park, run up there. Transformation for yourself, Andy coming in, just honest to God, absolutely superb. And it's a football, but what the club's done, seeing the local community, see the thing. By the way, that outweighs anything.
See the thing you mentioned Ted and that, worked harder than anybody, as hard as anybody's here now. The difference is that we were able to manipulate things like technology.
They didn't have that.
They didn't have it. If they'd have had that, they would have been able to bring it on quicker.
They kept the club
going. Of course, man.
What are you talking about, man? They were able to text me and tell me what's happening.
Well, right, we'll leave it on that. Okay. We're going to be moving on to our next ground in the PG and Dak's Memories Tour. Andy?
Before we go, anybody out there watching this, right? If you've got 16 and 19 year olds who've got a bit of potential, get them set up to the Candy under 19s.
The Candy under 19s. They'll need to do this, but you need to do a wee huddle and all that.
Brilliant, lads.
Brilliant. Superb.
My teams, 1, 2, 3, no, 4, that was one team, 5. All my boys. Yeah, yours, so you're there. And Andy's good. Andy's a self-promoter and he's very good at it. And that's how the Roch's been successful. We're going to Ashfield! Ashfield! Quite a few.
Right boys, Ashfield, man, look. Lovely view, it's like old school terracing. Coming through the terrace, it's like getting in a tunnel. Out to the field of dreams, absolutely love it, man. Ashfield Football Club. Right, come on in boys, we'll get you a cup of tea. Gaffer might be there anyway.
No worries.
This is what I love about the club, old school feel, proper football ground, old school manager's office, and here.
It's the real Ashfield gaffer!
Rankin's back!
Sorry.
Rankin's back!
Stevie Rankin, huh?
Tell you what, best gaffer the club's ever had. Brilliant to have Stevie Rankin in with, so we're going to get a couple of wee memories up in the stand, but brilliant man, an absolute legend in the club, brilliant to have him in.
This place hasn't changed since the day I left it.
Full of history. Look, this is when it goes back to, look, this is how much success me and Maxie and that have had at the club. The old Ashfield team. The gaffer there in his younger days, Murdy, and what a team that was. Tam,
But
the
look,
chairman of the club.
And the current gaffer with the big ball trophy. What was that? Would you win there?
That was Evening Times Cup.
Evening Times. I get beat in the final of that, never actually got to win it.
I get beat in the final, everyone, don't worry about it.
Have a look at this. This is how little it's been used. I did that in what was it, January? Was it December we were here? So that's still been there for a while.
There's the old school. This is what I love about Ashfield. Look, ice baths here, different class, but look, old school, sunken bath. Stevie, you could have filmed this with champagne there in a success you said, didn't you?
And we're joined now by the main man himself, Stevie Rankin. We're at Ashfield on the third leg of our tour. We'll start with yourself, Stevie. Any particular memories, because this was a very successful time you had at Ashfield, any particular memories that kind of stick out for you for here?
I could talk all day about
away.
memories that we had here. Going back to maybe 30 years ago, when John Codlin was the manager. The great Auchinleck Talbot team came here in the Scottish. Do you remember it, Davie? No?
Before my time.
They were flying as they are now. They came up here in the Scottish and we were bottom league. And we beat them 4-2 here in the Scottish. That was a great memory for us. That was great players in that team there. George Gemmell played with him at fullback. I think that was his name, George Gemmell. Young was our fullback. Great strikers up front. And we had a boy, Scott Cameron, that played with us at the time. John Sainton for Partick West, I think it was. And he was an outstanding player and he absolutely destroyed them. That was a great memory, that one. Other memories, in my time as manager, good victories against Pollock here, good victories against Auchinleck here, good victories against Girvan here to win the league. Plenty good victories here, Paul.
What about the memory, my first ever memory here, and I'm just going to throw in because it ties in quite nicely, of a day you'll probably no want to remember. 4-0 up against Maryhill with 22 minutes to go. A young PG scores a goal, gets whipped half right after it, and we beat 6-4 with 20 minutes to go.
Remember it well. Was it Guy Barr was the manager that time?
No, that was before Lee. It was Robert Johnson was the manager.
Robert, I remember it well. 4-0. We done the same. down at Ann Bank. We were 5-0 up at half time. We drew 5 each.
Mental, because you said Leatherders that day.
They're very naive in these days. Very naive.
Do you know what? That was actually my first ever junior goal.
Was that?
First ever junior goal into that goal there.
Aye.
So there you go.
See for me, man, when we were turning up there, I didn't obviously know Stevie was coming, and the legend of man himself, I was like, I've been in a sweet shop, I'm like, to PG, here's Stevie Rankin, there's Stevie Rankin. He goes, I know I've sorted it out for Stevie to come, but to bring a gaffer back here, I was, but that last a long weekend under you, gaffer, was I?
Played a few games, I remember.
I think I got a clean sheet there in my debut, but to have you back down, man, it must bring back some amount of memories with all the success you had, no players and all the players you played on.
Just shows you, Stevie, what I actually said. She still make the odd bad signing, did you?
Can't get them all right, you know what I mean?
Ryan came in and done a job, mate, with 2 games, I think you played, Ryan.
Aye, 2 games or something like that.
Did you get a shot out, did you say, aye?
I think I did it once, was against Greenock in a cup game out there. I think we won 2-0 or something. 2-0 I think it was. But that's as good. I always harp back in the podcast about me. Stevie used to always get the sub goalie tap and all that, and then you wouldn't know that. That man, you get the sub goalie tap and you warm the goalie up, and then the next minute I get home and I go, man, he was knowing that fucking team sheet, man. I'm left out the squad.
That was an old ploy we used to do years ago with players, because people get embarrassed to tell players that they're not playing, you know, and it's just part of the game. There's a pool of 18, 19, 20 players there. They've got to know that.
And it must have a couple of your ex-players now managing the club or not.
It's great. It's great to see Maxie and Kelly taking the club forward. 2 boys that Ryan Kelly was a super player for me here. So was Paul, super player for me here, and I took him down to Ayrshire when I went down there. Just a pity about his injury to finish his career. Great players. At that time there was good players at the team there.
Aye.
You know that was you'll probably remember a lot of years, but there was times, and you'll remember it, Davie, when we won the C division, whatever it was. There was players there like Jamie Riley and Martin Gall, Ian Murphy was the skipper of the club at the time, and these players were part of the cycle.
We get Tusso.
Gattuso, who was that again?
We Gattuso.
Steph.
Steph. We Steph. We wasn't Gattuso. In fact, it was Finlay.
Who's Steph that played at Roch, Davie?
We Steph Martin. Fernando. Sorry, I'm saying Gattuso. Fernando, man. What am I thinking about, man?
Fernando, you turn
He was hard as nails.
He was, he turned up at the Roch, he's like, I want everybody to call us Kino. And I've looked at him and I'm like, no, you look like Fernando Eriksson.
That's right, Fernando. I'm saying Gattuso, man. I'm getting mixed up there.
How did you find it, Stevie? Because I know that you won the club at a massive amount of money, and the last time I played against Ashfield 10-11 years ago when I was at Cumnock, and you gave us a bit of doing here, and you said a right good side. How did you manage to bring in such high quality players on such a low budget?
It was the players themselves, probably, Paul. They all bonded. I think if you're in football management and you know football management, a good dressing room, a happy dressing room, and a good bonded dressing room is half the battle with players. And the players had the opportunities to move on. I know, factually I know that, they had the opportunities to move on, but we try to take them right off the park. Maybe a wee night out here or a social event here, and we would cover the cost, the club would cover the cost of it. But they just liked playing here, and they enjoyed their football, they were well treated. They didn't get an awful lot of money, didn't get an awful lot of money, around 25 quid a week most of them. But it was good times, you know, it was good times.
No miss it, Stevie, no?
Not at all.
No.
I don't miss football one bit.
No.
Not at all, right?
It's mad, isn't it, when you go all that, it's been a big part of your life, and then you go to...
Aye, well, I
You're
went
quite
junior,
happy to see the
I went
back
junior
of
at 18.
Aye.
1936.
Aye, David. And I was involved in it for over 40 years, so I think I've done a bit, you know what I mean?
Aye, no,
So it's
definitely.
I'll tell you what,
What about you, Gaff?
she just told me with Steve about Stevie here. See, Ashfield, see, just for a wee period of time, it was just like, it was a conveyor belt of talent that you kept saying. You know what I mean? Like, a young 18-year-old fucking boy turns up in McGladrigan, who's this? Brilliant.
I think we signed up for West Park.
Aye, it was West Park, guys. That was absolutely.
That was good times, David, because McGlad came in as whatever age he was. McGlad came in, had Maxie in the team, and I signed Paul McDougall. So to change the formation for a 4-4-2 to go to 4-3-3 to accommodate them. But in fairness to them, fucking missed that many chances that year. It costed promotion with three points.
Big Dougs claims he's a player and all, he's on this
to be fair,
podcast, he cost us the promotion, didn't it?
To be fair, McDougall down here when we beat Ashfield scored an absolute world day, on the half turn, just in the circle.
What's a wee memory for you, Davie?
That one I just says.
Aye, but for you, he's a wee bit more, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what, one's a recent one, we got there. We came down and like, it's so difficult because of the size of the park. It's so difficult if you've got players that want to play. If you've got a big team here, then you're going to do fine. But it was a real tough game, and end up it took Gary Arbuckle bit of quality to win us a game, and that helped us get promoted. Because coming to Ashfield, it's always
difficult.
Tough. Always tough.
That's what you're trying to kind of make it and all, do you know what I mean? It's no... I try to go back to that, I think a lot of it. Maxie and ourselves are trying to do a lot for what you done at the club, Stevie.
I think it'll be difficult, but Ryan, because the parts probably took about 4 years each side.
I was just about to say that, Dak. How's it for you, without getting away too much, but how's it for you in terms of knowing you and then knowing Maxie and Ryan a bit and that? Well, you all want to play good football, but this part is, like David said, it's very much, see if you're a big strong team who are very compact, you're not going to lose many games here.
Aye.
So how is it for you to try to build that?
I feel for us, like when Stevie was a gaffer, we were talking about it just before we started shooting there, that was they had the likes of Gary McCann, who's still at Port, Ali Martin, great width because the park could accommodate good wide players. With us, what we're just trying to do now is, it's quite more in your face style. It's no always pretty football and all that. I think my best memory down here was when we were in charge. We had Nielsen in the Scottish. I think Nielsen were 2 divisions above us. That was only 2 seasons ago, and we beat them 4-2 here. We were 2-0 down and we won 4-2, and that wasn't pretty football, and that was just us grinding it out, getting maybe the ball into the opposition half as quick as possible, and then working off first and second balls for there. But listen, it is what it is. It's our home park and that, and we just need to find a way of playing and a way of being hard to beat. That's what we need to go back to, being hard to beat.
A bit of physicality down here,
See, that's kind of, it becomes an awkward
we were better away from home.
I can imagine.
We've actually been better away from home.
I think the problem you could have is, if you had a team like you're saying there, Stevie, physicality, kind of a lot of physicality about the team, and it works here, but see if you go somewhere else that is a nice slick big park,
that suited us.
it could cause you issues, you know what I mean?
See
So
when we
it's a
went
balance
down
and
to like Vera Leaving and stuff like that, the ants, we would always put in better displays because the park was bigger, we could get the ball down, we could play, whereas we've came here and we've, no disrespect for other clubs I wouldn't say, but we struggled against clubs that we should have been beaten because it's tight. Clubs can go a bit more back to front, it's a battle, and sometimes we lost out the
If you're
battle.
managing this football club now, you need 2 teams.
Aye.
You need your football
Home
team that's
team
going
and
to
away
play
team.
away from home.
Yeah.
Davey.
crazy,
And
isn't
the
it?
team that's going to come in here, I couldn't play a team here the new with Gary McCann, or Ali Martin, or Tony Chalmers.
And even
couldn't-
Tom,
Aye,
that seems you're going from
I
side to side, you're overcutting passes and that,
Tom will
but
be hitting 40-yard passes and they'll go in the car park.
aye.
You know, normally they're great passes. It's Boyle's football a wee bit.
Aye, it does.
And
It
you
does.
PG, but was that your memory?
That was,
goal you
see,
got?
to be honest, I only ever played here twice, both against Stevie's team. My first ever junior goal, which I actually forgot was my first ever junior goal, but it's quite a special one now that I think about it. Then the other one we took a bit of doing, and I played in the middle of the park and Big Thompson pistol at the top of me, so that's knows.
Was that the 4-1 game?
Aye, he's battered us here, because we went up, us and Glencairn went up that year, but it was just a doing we took. It was.
See that game you're talking about, Paul. We just came off a 9-1 defeat at Auckland.
That's right, aye, I remember that.
We got an absolute bumping down at Beachwood, 9-1 or 9-2 or whatever it was.
Aye.
And what do you do in training Monday night? How do you try and love players there?
Aye.
We just made that carry on night.
Aye, exactly.
We
Fun,
got
isn't it,
that.
when you
Can't
get the
all
ones
that.
in the door?
Tell the 2 boys who scored the goal, they're great.
But it was we bounced back the next one because that's the important one.
Oh,
If you take
aye,
a big
aye.
defeat, your next week.
I know, definitely.
Your 2 nights in training and your next Saturday game is very important to see how you.
It flips it all around again, didn't it?
Aye.
But we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Stevie,
Stevie,
thank you
man,
very much for
brilliant,
coming.
honestly.
Can't thank you enough. Great for you to
Yeah,
give up the time.
Maxie's going to be gutted with that. I think Stevie Rankin looks Maxie. No, that's it, Maxie.
That's a gaffer there.
I know, well, Stevie looks still a
Good
lot
on, Maxie.
better on the hot seat than the Maxie boy, but brilliant to have you, Stevie, honestly, an absolute legend,
you
man.
very much.
Boys,
Thank
thanks
you
for
very
being
much.
here. Thank you.
Cheers. Aye, Davey, next stop the Ants, please, driver. St Anthony Juniors,
Glasgow's green and white.
McKenna Town.
McKenna Town.
Aye, it's McKenna Park, McKenna Toilets, McKenna Football Pitch.
Yeah, by the way, what a surface up there, by the way. Brilliant to see Stevie Rankin there, by the way.
Oh, top man.
Davey, did you know him as a
Looking fit.
player?
I played with
You're
him.
looking well, isn't he?
Looking fantastic, man.
Looking better than me, man.
Aye, we're just trying to buy this postal before all women go to Lidl, man. They look better than you. But Stevie's just, what a career, man. You know what I mean? But and then to go and see what he done in management. I mean, it is generally that Ashfield side. It was just conveyor belt of talent. And some of the boys away back then still play. Look at the careers. Big Thompson, for instance.
Aye.
How long's he been playing junior football?
no,
You know what I mean?
no.
Stevie got him in. Always dive. Just had
Ants,
him on
but
Lidl.
Gaffer, you'll be looking forward to getting down here. You got a lot of good pals down here, eh?
Aye, yeah, listen, one of my best pals in the juniors, James McKenna, just great guy.
I used to think Cotter's second name was Cotter, and then people would say James McKenna, but who the fuck's that? I literally didn't know who James McKenna was.
I think I've always called him James.
Why is he called Cotter?
Jamesy Cotter out of Hingway, no, Ramsey.
I'd imagine that's what it is.
Aye,
you know
sure.
what I mean?
Cotter's too old for that to have been the reason his nickname was that.
Listen, have you seen
Aye,
him
but
on...
Bam's always a Bam. Well, I remember he'd actually lost his job. He lost his job with the Ants. He voted out with the committee. And they asked me and Ramey, or they asked Ramey, will you come? He goes, I'll come and help, no problem. He goes, I'll help you. And I think it was, they played Irvine Meadow in the Scottish. And they had a big committee meeting to see if James would keep his job. And I think James kept his job with 16 to 15 in the votes we won for it.
Did he? I think it was Felix had 15 of the 16 votes.
Aye, so kept his job, and he asked me, do you want to stay on as a coach? And I did,
Aye.
but James isn't a proper manager. He's never been, in my eyes, He's never been a proper manager. See any manager that every year goes to fucking Bermuda or fucking places like that in their holidays and come back when there's games on. You know what I mean? You're away on holiday lying on a beach and you know Cotter lies on the beach and fucking the Ants are playing a league game and all that. You're a fucking disgrace, Cotter, man. I would have sacked you early doors.
Talk about friendship, man. Right under the bus.
Fuck him, never say anything nice about me. Every year he go on
not
holiday.
going
She's a manager, you hate it when players go on holiday during the season.
Oh, I do.
So here we've got a manager every fucking winter booking cruises.
Tell him, Davie. Fucking tell him.
I'll fucking tell you, Cotter.
You got us relegated,
You got him relegated. 13 years you tried to get him relegated.
God, I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Phone him.
I don't know, Dad.
Get him on the phone. Put him on speakerphone. Right, bud.
You got him on the phone yet?
It's ringing.
He'll not answer you.
Hello.
Cotter!
Yes.
How you doing, mate?
Can you speak Cotter's PG and Dak?
Always speak on you, Dak. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, we've got a guy here and he's slaughtering you and we didn't think that it would be fair unless you can get your chance. We're sitting in the taxi here. We're sitting in the taxi here with the Shadow, Davie Greig.
Aye, Davie the Shadow.
Davie, is there anything you want to say to Cotter?
No, I've always said James is one of my best pals. The best, James, you're the
The
best.
Shadow can't say nothing else. Ask him why he gets called the Shadow.
He's destroyed you here, mate. You need to give something quickly on him, mate.
Dak, jealousy is a bad thing. Well, I don't know if you were in goals at the time, Dak, when we played the Roch. We beat them 5-0 at the Roch.
Wouldn't have been me, mate.
Wouldn't have been me, you fucking beat me. I was 5-0 when I was there.
Listen to this. Davie says to me, Cotter, I was magnificent. Any chance I can come to training anymore and shadow you? This is a true story.
I love that story, man. It's my favourite line in the whole world.
Swear to God, Davie, let me finish, please. And Davie's taught me a notepad, right? Paul will tell you, I run as well. Oh, fuck. That's all this fucking stuff. I'm old fashioned, so Davie's standing behind me with a notepad. I'm doing the trees like behind the ants in the pitch black. We're running, and he's looking at me, you can see that he clinked his eye, and I said, what's up with you, Davie? He said, this is amazing. He said, I can't believe you've took him under your wing. That's why they call me Spanner, because I took him under my wing.
Cotter,
So,
reinvented again, you reinvented again, man.
Dad was all following that and he loved it. And that's how he gets called a Shadow.
Right, Cotter,
That's a true story.
we're just about to pull a bit of McKenna Park, you know. Just for all our listeners,
Right, man, don't pay that taxi.
No, we're going to run around, don't worry.
Hey. Not for that shit.
Well, just for people listening, because we're going to definitely keep this in. We're going to have you and Davie on, hopefully in the next 4 to 6 weeks when we're in the studio.
That's good, mate. I'm available.
It's going to be class.
I'm
Right,
not
Cotter,
kidding about
appreciate you.
That's right, have a wonderful day,
Right.
folks.
You hanging on to my coattails again, Cotter?
You keep topping up that tan, because it's a battle of the tan-offs when me and you go on this show, mate.
Dak, I'm sitting in the back of now, topless.
Hey, I've seen you, mate. Get the guitar out, mate. You're good to go.
Okay, I've got a wee mandolin, I'll play that.
Brilliant,
Right,
Cotter.
Cotter, I'll speak to you later.
Right, see you later.
Yeah,
See you
bye-bye.
later, Davie. Shadow, great.
Bye.
Brilliant, man.
Brilliant.
I use a boat.
I can't wait to have the two of yous on. I can't wait for it. Right, that's us pulling up at the Ants now.
And the Ants, man. McKenna Park.
We are at the home of the Ants, McKenna Park.
McKenna Park has good body.
Tremendous. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, lads. I mean, Cotter did well to keep this club up for so long. Not until PG turned up. I got him relegated, missing the penalty that fucked us against Johnson Borough.
I can't believe you're using that as your memory, mate.
Is this thing?
Mate, no, it didn't happen here. It didn't happen here.
Is that what it's called,
I
McKenna
tell
Park?
you, see for me, always one of the best surfaces, but McKenna Park, McKenna.
That was good, 3
Look,
points.
look, David, we need to get through McKenna, don't we?
Oh, don't there's McKenna.
Hello! McKenna Park.
Right, here we are at the home of the Ants at McKenna Park. We're on McKenna dugout, on the McKenna bench. And we've got 2 smashing guests. We've actually got 3, but one of them won't come on. Will you, Lawrence? You won't come on.
He's
Right.
not coming on.
So we've got Ronnie McDonald, Ronald. On there, and we've got
Legend
Martin.
of the club.
Martin McKenna as well.
Martin McKenna.
One of the top men at the West now.
Social media
Well,
man in
we'll
the
move there,
West.
let
I
them in,
know.
let them in.
Look, Davey's out of the shot now here. Sit in my knee, Davey, if you want.
Right, so Davey, we'll start with you this time. Give us a wee memory at the Ants.
Scoring with a long John John.
Scoring with a long John John.
Come up here in a bounce game. Come up here in a bounce game. It's Big Lenny, wasn't it? You'd have played Ronnie. You'd have done the right thing and stayed away from me. Because all these tights, I'm a bit old for the tights thing, so pair of long Johns on, put myself on as a sub, one each. Not make Big Lenny, Big James.
Aye,
Not make Big James. Matthew Donald shouting, he's a geriatric, somebody smash him. Not Meg James, and a wee pass by the goalkeeper and a wee pass into the empty net. Happy days.
Mrs. Greig was raging that you ripped her tights that day and all, but
It was Long Johns.
oh sorry, Long Johns, Long
I
Johns.
ripped her Long Johns.
5 to 6 year old Long Johns.
But no, always good up here. I remember, who was that guy who used to be up here? Who's the manager guy?
Tony Kane.
No, for him.
Doyle.
No, for him. How are you?
Yeah, when did that boy come? Was that score?
Oh, James! Loved it.
Oh, the
Loved
bromance.
James. He is my favourite manager in the juniors because every time I played against him, gave us a 3 points. It was like Christmas. And I remember we came down here, it was with Blantyre, came down here and he told us we've only got 2 players. And we beat them 1-0. He goes, you've only got 2 players. I tell you, lucky I never played the other 9. But the Ants were absolutely fantastic that day. I mean, we were a good side. Ants were fantastic. Knocked the ball about all the park, man. Great cross into the box. Big John White, man, header right into the top corner. You're like, what a goal. And that made the Ants up against it because it was an own goal. It was a cracker. And we never, even when we were rotten, Cotter couldn't beat us.
Tell you about I remember back when I first started junior football, the Ants had some good teams, good players. Remember, but Jamie Dock and all that were all playing and that.
Yeah.
We striker at Glencairn, very good.
Mackay.
PG Mackay, very good player. Do you know what I mean? So, I've got one memory, Davey, but I wasn't actually in the juniors when we played down here. But I played with Partick Thistle, right, under 19s, and we were playing Celtic here. Partick Thistle, we used this as a home ground, and we were playing Celtic. Celtic had some team, they had McGeady, Charlie Mulgrew, Michael Gardine, and it was pishing down, and it was slidey, and I only had a pair of mouldies on, so every goal kick I took, I was phoning my arse, right, it was embarrassing. So Chick Charnley's the gaffer, we were in the dressing room after the game. I think Celtic won about 7-0 or something. It was one of the days where balls were hitting the post, coming hitting the back of my head and getting in and all. Just a pure nightmare day. We're in the dressing room after it, man. Chick Charlie's throwing sandwiches about. He's holding a cup of tea and he's horn shaking and he's shaking the tea, he's getting all air and it's hitting his horn and he's raging, he's picking sandwiches up. God, what you wearing in your feet keeper slippers? Throwing them sandwiches are flying past people's heads.
Did you say any of them?
I didn't say any of them. I grabbed him and all they were coming off the back of the ball, hit me in the back of the head, you know what I mean? But that was my memory of doing it McKenna Park, brilliant. Because that day I thought the game was going to be off, and that's one thing I'll always say about down here. You come down here, game's always on, parts always in mint condition, and I was like, the game's not going to be on. I'll just take my mouldies down and the game was on.
That's a wee bone of contention now that it's the first ever game. It's called off. Was it last season? First game in 13 years that's called off
Is that right?
for a Waterloo Park.
Just before lockdown it was.
Aye, so
it was a year but the day Ibrox was off. Remember
Was it?
Ibrox was off.
That's what I was saying to Dave on the way up.
Big Martin tweets out the only part in Govan on 2 minutes later off. He's put that out as a tweet and
Sorry.
gets slaughtered.
Just kidding.
we played Villa Leave, that's what I was saying on the way up. That was the only that day Villa Leave, and our game was on that day when Rangers was off. I thought you made it that day. That's right, I remember.
Kane, he wasn't happy, wasn't he?
No, the ball was rolling and stuff, he was kicking the ball
The ref
out.
was at it, just wanted away, do you know what I mean?
He was wanting a flyer, wasn't
So,
he?
I'll keep
Most of they wanted the game off, but he turned up, shoes on, didn't change into his gear, walked up with a suit on.
I heard he turned up with Davie Greig's long johns on and called the game off.
Turned up like that. I've got his long johns on.
A pair of shorts.
So what about you, Ronnie? What's your best memory? You've spent a lot of time here, you've played a lot of games for the club.
I think that's
What age
about
is Ronnie?
18 years I've been here now.
18, that's scary, man.
To be fair, and I don't know, there's loads of memory. Probably one of them, my testimonial was here, see, after that. And
Who was that against?
It was a kind of I'm not a Celtic fan, I'm a Man United fan, but it was kind of Celtic legends. There was a handful of McAvenny played, and Joe Miller and Tom Boyd, so there was a few of them that. So that was a good day because there was a lot of
Did you play? Didn't you get mentioned there, did you?
No,
I was talking about the wee guys.
Aye, we're talking about that. We're talking, no got on to big time yet.
Nah.
But do you pay your 50 quid to play? Is that what it was?
I get paid 50 quid to play.
Do you know what? I think I'm the only guy that's ever had a testimonial and owed the club money. That's what the answer's like. No,
That cost money.
So that was one of them. And then another one, probably one of my earlier years, the Bens. I don't know if it was a cup section or a league game.
That's your last minute goal.
Injury time winner, and it was that way just because back then, see now we've not played the Bens in a few years, so the derby's kind of
they're a good team,
wee bit type thing. Aye, they've went away up there and we're down here, but that way it was like they had a corner. Wee guy was going. I was tracking back, in fact, so the old Sly one when the ref's away ahead of you and you're clipping a boy's heel so he can't get in the box, so he's going off his nut corner. Ball breaks out, I think wee Dangle switched it, Dennis Barkley touched it off, and it was like a kind of half volley, far top got, and it was last minute of probably one of my first Ben's games, do you know what I mean? It was that way, so that was probably one of the ones that kind of sticks in your mind down here as well. But there's loads of.
See for me, Ronnie, man. See nowadays, man. It's like for you to get a testimonial at the club and all that. It's amazing, man. You don't often hear now, especially at this level of football, man. Boys are jumping ship, man, every 1-2 years, man, and hundreds of clubs. And you speak to boys who got hundreds of clubs. I will Tiger Woods sit next to me, man. He's plenty of clubs. What about you, man? What about you, mate? You've seen a lot of things here.
Aye, well, I was here when we first moved in, obviously middle of 2003, we just won the league, and then we get in contact with Rangers, and Sandy Jardine sent in a 21s team to play a game for Big Joe O'Hearn's testimonial game. That's a crack memory. They had some team with Jesper Christensen in goal, Alan Hutton, Chris Burke, Stephen McLean, Daniel Fortunato. They had a right good team out against us, and it was not each at half time, I think. Was that the year after you? I think it was not each at half time or 1-0 in the name. Jesper Christensen put off some save for Dennis Barkley. Came out the second half, don't get his rank, they pumped to 7-0.
Six penalties.
Aye.
7 breakaways.
Got our 6 goals.
Obviously that was the opening of the park, but then we played in the League Cup section after that as well, and our section, we've always been like the smallest team in the section, so at the time we had Park, Arthurley, Neilston, Johnson Borough, Renfrew and the Bens, and they were all Premier League teams, and we were obviously just promoted for the second division, and we done 6 out of 6 in the section, we beat them off, and that'll never be done again, obviously with the section thing, we've obviously moved grade and stuff, but at the time they changed the groups a couple of years after that, so it could never be done again, so obviously there was that.
The only team had done it as well.
Aye, the only team.
So you played that, Ronnie? No, again, that's just the year after. The answer's downhill when I joined.
How long you been here, Ronnie? 18 years. 18. We just get mind that time you beat. That just a 4 bad time. I mind that time we won the league. Just a 4 bad time.
I played for 13 years. And we stayed in the same division, never ever got out the section, never done anything, do you know what I mean?
That's a tough section.
And then the last year we go down. Quarters last year. Oh, you there as well? There you go.
Well, that's obviously. I want to touch on a wee bit of the West stuff you're going to be doing, Martin. But my memory, because it was a shite year I was here, it was shite. See when we beat Arthurley here in the quarters of was it the League Cup?
Aye. When we were still into the end of the season. Greenock beat us.
No, it was Rob Roy beat us.
No, we played.
Rob Roy beat us at Cumbernauld in the semis.
No, we beat them and we come back to play Greenock here. And they hammered us about 6-1. Because Kenna, it was into June. No, it was into June. And Kenna, see, they put sand in the park every year. This is like this Cashmore one.
I know,
Don't get good for
it.
But they put sand down.
Dang Ron's real football podcast said that up there, didn't it?
No, but all the sand gets sprayed because they get a lot of work done over the summer in the park. So we came out because we didn't expect it. We were relegated and we're still in the cup in June. Park was covered in sand. We were bare bones going in. We beat Rob Roy. I think did we not play Cumbernauld as well? Because we beat them 2 or 3 down there. Or at Cumbernauld. And we come up here, massive big crowd, great summer's night. We were probably lucky to put 11 players in the park. Willie Duncan, I think, gets sent off in the first 15-20 minutes or something like that.
I remember because we were in the dressing room and Willie gets sent off a few times that year. We're in the dressing room and he comes in and goes, I'm sorry about that. And I was like, fuck off, Willie. Like, you've just got us put out of the cup. And then quarters like that. Right,
Even the 7 goals you
No, at this time it was only 4.
6-1 or something we got.
Aye, well it was, I'm sorry, fuck off, you did that all the time. But
we were fought to see
aye,
every game.
I was there.
We were losing 1 or 2 players out. We were bare bones, do you know what I mean? And it was that way. Considering it was a good turnout, it was a great chance to progress now, because that was the same we went to. And you're playing Greenock, like, looking at the teams we'd already played, no disrespect to them, but they were more on a level par with us compared to the teams we'd played.
Arthur and Roy then Greenock, wasn't it?
Because the Arthur game, the Bish of a cracker in goal.
Aye, Bish was brilliant, and who was it? Because they just signed Chris Mackey and brought him on late, and basically it was just me and Irish tried our best not to get leathered at him. But that was a good game.
No,
that's my favourite. That's my favourite
that's
one.
That's one of the downsides of that as well.
That was one of my favourite. But Martin, before we finish up, tell us a wee bit about your stuff that you're doing with the West End.
Basically, I'm just trying. Obviously, I've taken out the kind of social media and the website and stuff for that. And I'm a divisional club rep as well. So next season, I'll be clubs can speak to me if there's any issues and stuff like that. It's new. It's exciting for me because obviously it's a big step for me. Gone from just being at the Ants to obviously dealing with the league level. But I think with the Ants social media and stuff like that, I've shown that I can build an audience and stuff like that as well. Obviously the Roma hang out with the Ants massively. In fact, that's one of my favourite days down here, David Johnson Borough, non-league day.
I need to build in here, build an audience. He just alienated half of them after congratulating Rangers, and he's building an audience here, you know what I mean? What's he talking about?
The Ants hasn't got a preference. I keep saying this, I've got my own personal preferences as
you know, the next thing, did you see the blue Ants crest out the other
day?
No! A blue Ants
crest. The blue Ants crest for autism.
Look at it.
But I think that's because obviously we wear the hoops and stuff like that. So a lot of people think you're this way minded or that way, or obviously Celtic minded in the west of Scotland. But the clubs know. Some people at the club might be Celtic fans, there's obviously Rangers fans, as you know, for your time here and stuff like that as well. And we're a club that's open to everybody, and we celebrate Scottish success. We've done it for the last 10 years on Twitter. So I don't see why there's this commotion this year when I've congratulated the winners of the league.
I think I've touched a nerve. He's getting all defensive.
I'm not getting defensive, it's just that I do get
raw.
It is a wee bit raw, to be honest.
See, to be fair,
sometimes I rock myself to sleep at night thinking about it. See that getting called a skid mark in the West. I'm doing alright.
See, touching on that though, I think that's one. Touching on that's a thing that the club, see when I come down, the amount of people that just assume you're a Celtic fan because you're here. We look at Big Jordan White, you only need to look at some of his Snapchats and everything else, how much a Rangers fan, Big Graham Japp. I remember he was down here playing a game, Japp always wore 2 pair of socks, so getting the usual abuse off certain guys out during the game, shut it, blah blah blah. He's rolling his socks down, he's got Rangers socks on, do you know what I mean? People are looking, just because you play, he's no Celtic, do you know what I mean?
The captain at the big Rangers crest in his chest and all.
It's just the way, see, to be fair, I would think, even though we wear green and white hoops, there's more probably an association with the Roch, probably to a Celtic, do you know what I mean, than what we are weird, no really.
It's just...
It's not as if we get people, like if Celtic games on the own, that they're necessarily down here, that we probably Rangers fancy, but round the back there you'll no see it. Before the hills all grew up, the trees, there was a hill at the back. People used to come and stand out with their carry out because Kenna wouldn't let them in, and it was some of the boys like Fordy's pals, they come down maybe Rangers Celtic, but it's a great wee bit of banter.
See, I'd say for my time here it is very, you get that kind of image, but it's not like that. But Martin, see, just to finish up on the West stuff, how are you feeling as a committee for progressing for next year with the fact that this season has obviously been a damn squib?
This season's obviously not went to plan, but again the club's wanted to play and we tried our best to do it until such time as the government shut us down. But for next season, I think it's just excitement. It's a new committee, there's new guys on board, we've got fresh ideas, we're looking to progress the league on the part of the clubs, but also after the part for the league as well, because of the platform we've got, why not use it for good?
Exactly.
I mean, I've seen how woke nonsense and all that, but it's not, you're promoting the work that the clubs do. Clubs like Clyde Bank done an Easter egg thing, Bellshill done the same thing. There's a lot of good work that's done in the West.
Well, that's something we've seen for the day, figuring about different grounds, where I spoke to George at Blantyre this morning, where it's like, things are changing now, this isn't the juniors anymore, we have to be more progressive, because you had just the same stuff for the juniors forever, so it's good for it to change and be a bit more progressive. And I think that one of the big things that should be done for next season starting is get St Peters into the league, so get your vote done.
Here's the main man for the job here. See if St Peters want success, they get into the league or any new clubs, Davie Greig is unattached and he's looking for a job, and he might take me in as a wee assistant gaffer now. Nah.
That's the thing though, see what you're saying, I've watched obviously all the broadcasters if I do it and see the clubs that are putting a lot of work in the background. Obviously the Ants within reason don't have much, do you know what I mean? But there's a fundraise and a couple of things going to try and get a wee stand and things like that over there. So, and people say that a lot doesn't change the now for a club like the Ants, do you know what I mean? See the bigger teams that can have got these.
Changing your license and stuff, that makes it a lot easier.
It's still no a great deal's changed for the Ants, but it's that way. See, hopefully in time, as this conferences settle out and that, you maybe get better game, bigger all that kind of help, do you know what I mean? But for us, the new
even stuff like that.
Just to pick up one of the points, Ronnie, you've been watching this shit. No, I mean, he never gets anything right, man, with his facts. You know what I mean?
He was doing alright up till the one that came out today, I think it was. I watched it, but I watched it today.
I think that's a good place as any to leave. I want to thank you all for watching this first PG and Dak's kind of memory tour. It's something we'll maybe look to do in the future again.
Aye, we'll maybe ditch Davie Greig. Kid on, love him me bits, but listen.
About Glasgow.
No, here, listen, that's one thing about Davie. He'll always take money off you and he always charges me off a boundary fare. But listen, thanks to everybody, all the clubs and that as well. The Ants is just like the rest of the clubs. It's doing a lot of hard work, a lot of good people, and it's important for us to go about and give people exposure, give clubs exposure and see the good work being done with everybody. Davie Greig's been a legend today, PG's been no bad, and the guests have been even better. Cheers, troops.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Superb, boys.
Cheers, lads.
By the way, Davie, what I tell you, mate,
I enjoyed it.
I think we'll just get off.
Whereabouts?
Stop here, mate. We'll get off here.
Mate, really appreciate it.
Listen, thoroughly enjoyed it, but...
It's been brilliant to catch up with you.
No, listen, wait, 48, 50 boys, you know what I mean? Go 40.
Aye, Davie.
No, listen, I'm not doing this for nothing, man. Don't give me this, you can pay with card. What? Give me... Yeah, fuck. Fucking come here, you!